What is up, YouTube fam? Robbie C here. Today we are out at George Ward Park and we're gonna go to a spot that, I don't know, we're gonna call like our classic distance spot. Last time we were here and filmed in these locations, we were talking about distance and how the 50% power at the right time is so effective. Well, y'all, taking our next step in the evolution, and I'm telling you, it's a little shocking. Before we dive in, have to ask the most important question of the day. How are you doing today, Claire? Are you having a good one?
So catch me if I fall.
All right, so let's talk distance. I spend a lot of time talking with folks online about their form. I talk with other coaches like Josh from Overthrow. And actually, on my way to film this, I called Mikey and Dakota, who were hanging out at Overthrow's office, talking to them about this concept and trying to make sure that this was not something that had appeared in a video on their channel, because if it had, I wanted to make sure that we linked it, because another beauty of coaching is that while I may say words a certain way or may approach this topic this way, there's a very real chance that it's not going to connect with some of you, and this is not going to make sense. But if you go listen to Josh and he talks about a similar concept, he can explain it in a way that's going to connect with you. I think that that is one of the biggest beauties of coaching, especially in disc golf, is it is a lot of coaches kind of getting our teeth grinded in after lesson and working with folks saying, hey, can you try this? Hey, can you do this? And seeing what's actually sticking, what's actually making changes, all of the sort. And talking with Mikey, he's pretty confident that they don't have a video on this, but I wouldn't be surprised if a video on this comes out soon. But today we're going to talk about a myth, or something that a lot of coaches, myself included, have talked about when it comes to throwing for distance, and a position or point that you need to focus on, that you need to try to get to. And I actually think that how we have been saying it is not wrong, but I don't think that it fully gets you in the right position. And when I started talking about it and discovered something myself, I realized, oh my goodness, it is like so much easier to get actual power at the 10 o'clock release position when I do this. Whether you want to call it repeat, overlap, things like that, I feel like I need to start by explaining the 10 o'clock position. When we talk about 10 o'clock position, that's going to be mostly for right-handed players. For left-handed players, it's going to be about 2 o'clock. If we think about ourselves as a clock, this is us in the dead middle, and there are the times all around. When we go to throw the disc, our arm comes out and it extends outward, and it extends. If I like have this whole surface area, that 10 o'clock hit point is where I should be releasing the disc. It's where the disc should be coming out, and when I hit that 10 o'clock release position, it's actually going to send it straight and forward, which is ideal to get distance out of the disc. One of the big reasons to think about this is that if I try to throw the disc straight and I go to throw it here, the disc has to be spinning in order to fly. If I'm trying to throw the disc straight at you guys and I want it to come out right there's not a lot of room right here for me to put spin and power into the disc, because my hand is pretty much out of the way already. Think about if I were trying to get a top to spin on the ground like this, it'd be way easier for me to do exactly that, to be on the front of the disc and rip my hand around backwards and pull it to get that spin going. Notice if I have my hand on the back of the disc, it's not as easy to get spin because there's just less rotation available for me to put a move on the disc. So the same concept applies, and that's why we want to hit the 10 o'clock, where when I hit 10 o'clock, let's see here, I'm going to come at you straight rather than 12 where there's minimal move. If I hit 10 o'clock, you can see that the disc has room to rotate around. That is what allows me to inject spin and power and all that into the disc. So it should be that easy. Just when you're going through your form, stay calm, stay quiet, come into that 50%, and then boom, I've hit the quote power pocket, and I'm just gonna extend out and I'm gonna hit that 10 o'clock, and bada boom, bada bing, I've launched it, I'm throwing 500 feet. It's just so easy. So many people are still struggling to get to that 10 o'clock release position. And when you feel like you're still getting your most powerful throws, and even if you've never tried to reach 10 o'clock position, most of you, when you're getting your biggest and most powerful throws for right-handed players, is when you have grip locked it and yeeted it off into the next dimension, next zip code, next whatever, way off to the right. You feel like that disc has fully ripped out of your hands. It has soared into new heights. And what if I told you that I think a mental cue of getting to 10 o'clock is not enough, or at least getting the disc to 10 o'clock is not the right move? One thing my coach, Mike Strauss, has taught me when it comes to critiquing form and looking at form is that so often we want to say, hey, can you take a video of me real fast? I got to take a video and see what my form actually looks like. And when we do this, we actually make subtle changes to our form and what we're supposed to be doing because we're now actively thinking about it. And most often when you're playing tournament rounds or you're playing sanctioned rounds or rounds that, quote, matter for whatever that could be for you, you are throwing just a little bit differently. Maybe you're not as rigid as you would be if we asked you to film your throw. So how Strauss actually went and learned what form was supposed to be is that he took a lot of video coverage from tournaments and sanctioned rounds of the pros. And back in his day, he was doing it on DVDs with a DVD player, not even on the computer like with frame by frame. The man was mashing that pause and play button, trying to see as much as he could frame by frame what was going on. And when thinking about this 10 o'clock concept, I see so many pros get to the 10 o'clock release point. But as I mentioned a bit earlier, I don't think that it's the disc that is supposed to be getting to 10 o'clock. Now, why is this? Because I think if the disc, and a lot of people when they practice this, let's say I'm here, I'm going to point here to 10 o'clock. I'm going to point my hand to 10 o'clock. If I put the disc in my hand, you can see here that I've already have the disc somewhat rotating around, which means that I'm going to get even less power and less snap and rotation out of the disc because I'm trying to guide it there, which could also cause me to lead to some early releases because I'm trying to hit this snap, so I may be loosening my grip on that approach, which causes early releases. Or if I grip too tightly when I hit that, where's the disc wanting to launch? When I have the disc here, it's going to rotate all the way around. So I think that verbiage or an idea that really settled home in one of my conversations with Mike was, what if we told people to stop throwing at 10 o'clock, stop getting the disc to 10 o'clock, and we told people, throw the back of your hand to 10 o'clock. What? The back of your hand to 10 o'clock? That's crazy. Almost as crazy as today's video sponsor, Flight Towel. Flight Towel is home to what I believe is the best towel on the market. And something that sets Flight Towel apart is that Flight Towel was made, it's a company started by disc golfers who continually got frustrated with not finding the towel they were looking for out there. These are not just your regular old run-of-the-mill microfiber towels. Flight Towel cuts no corners on the quality of their product and has made a variety of different products regarding the same quality towel so that you can take their Flight Towel OG, which comes with a real disc fob cut into pieces. This one is a Star Wraith, so that I can practice, I can warm up, or if I hit a huge backup in the middle of the course, I have the opportunity to continue to use this towel, which has a built-in pocket, to keep myself loose and avoiding injury while I'm out there on the course. But the product you're gonna see most often here on the Robbie C channel is the Flight Towel Juniors. If you've seen a Robbie C video, you've seen a towel clipped to my belt loop on the back. And the beauty of the Flight Towel Junior is that it is a full-size towel with the carabiner being held in the middle. This allows it to clip onto your bag without dragging on the ground, so that these high-quality microfiber towels don't pick up every piece of leaf and debris on the ground as well, making them ineffective at drying your disc. That's right, the Flight Towel Junior was designed in mind for exactly that, to clip on your bag, to not cut corners and giving you a half towel, but a full-size, fantastic towel that avoids all the distractions. And obviously, I love mine to stay on the back, so that way if my putter's a little extra wet, no matter if my hands are a little extra wet, if I need to dry something at all, I can just simply reach behind me, clips onto a belt loop super easily, super lightweight, so it's not distracting me in any form or fashion. I love Flight Towel products, and I'm so grateful for the support that Amanda and Scott have continued to give the Robbie C channel over all the years, even when we were just like a tiny little channel out there. So if you want to support what Flight Towel is doing, as well as directly support what we're doing here on the Robbie C channel, head over to flighttowel.com and use code 128799. That's my PDGA number, 128799, so that you have the opportunity to try out the best towel on the market, as well as save yourself a little dough in the process. All right, so back of the hand being thrown to the target. What does that mean? As I'm coming through, you can actually practice this without having a disc in your hand, because it's actually going to give you the feeling and the sensation that we're talking about. If I try to, let's say, have my hand pointed like I have a disc in my hand, I'm pointing it nose down, I'm pouring the coffee, I'm doing everything that the internet tells me that I'm supposed to do when it comes to throwing a disc. I'm going to come through, gather the left side, swing through, the knee drives in, the hip drives in, I feel the brace, power is looming through my body, I've got the tension built up back here behind my shoulder, and I want to open up simply to 10 o'clock. Boom, I hit that 10 o'clock release position. But at that 10 o'clock release position, I am pointing my thumb at that 10 o'clock release position. There, If the disc snaps out early, gets loose, anything like that, because I'm afraid, and I loosen it, my trajectory is directly left. I have early released it. And obviously, that's not ideal. But that's with me thinking about most often what I think a lot of people are doing is pointing the disc to 10 o'clock. They're pointing the disc and they're getting their thumb lined up and we're boop, boop, pointing that thumb. Whereas if we take that exact same setup and I think about hitting the back of my hand to that 10 o'clock release position, let's do one time. I'm gonna be pointed at the camera. I coil up, boom, boom, boom. I hit, left side's folded. Oh my gosh, the brace is so good. Boom, you see that? I'm trying to hit that 10 o'clock with my thumb and it's pointed out there. You can see trajectory is gonna go woo. Maybe I get the hit right and it points in your direction and it fires off. Now let's take that same trajectory and rather than thinking about pointing the disc to 10 o'clock, why don't I think about pointing the back of my hand to 10 o'clock? And notice that when I come through, I'm gonna gather the left side, I'm gonna hit, boom. I've now hit the back of my hand to that 10 o'clock release position. It is gonna be really tough for the disc to actually get out at that release position, because if I did, that means that I'd actually have to be opening my hand up entirely because there's no snap, there's no rotation coming around because I've hit that 10 o'clock release position. I've come through, bam. Notice how much more room I have to go to launch the trebuchet when the 10 o'clock has hit here, because now everything is firing from that point. I come through and the arm has swung out to hit that 10 o'clock power spot, that 10 o'clock bang. I really hope all this is in frame, my guys. It has hit that 10 o'clock and now when I hit that point, this is where I can truly feel the acceleration and I have set myself up. The brace has ridden, everything has fired to where at this point, if I think about throwing my hand to 10 o'clock, it's very easy for my head to stay in position, my body to stay in position, and the hand to be the only thing that goes through so that my body can then follow on the other side. If I'm throwing the hand to 10 o'clock and I'm getting there, it's very easy for me to be already up, me to be too forward facing, and then now I've lost power. I've lost power and it's harder to finish the shot there. By thinking about throwing my back of my hand to 10, see how much more room there is to swing? This seems like such a super simple concept, but your active swing thought is so important for so many people. And they've told themselves over and over again, because we continue to hear that, get to 10 o'clock, all of that. But I think we're getting the wrong thing there. And I want to show you guys hopefully a couple throws to demonstrate this process. See, flight towel comes in handy, even in all this humid weather. Whew, some of my hands would be drying. It's my face and my bald head. Code 128799. So, this is only 217 feet, so I'm not trying to argue, oh man, he talks about distance and being a crusher and then Mr. YouTube man stepping up on 217-foot holes. I think if you try to take this concept immediately to your distance form, you're going to be frustrated because you're going to try to throw it hard thinking that, oh man, well Mr. YouTube man just gave me the one tip to open Pandora's box and now I throw a 500. So you're probably going to overpower it, get your timing off and everything. You're not going to think about throwing this to the back of your hand. So I actually love working this concept on shorter shots so that I can feel it, because I know that I don't really have to throw this too incredibly hard for me to get the disc 217 feet. Great example. I'll grab a polecat real fast, do my normal throw. Bang, 20 feet short, okay? Super simple, nice and easy. So if I want to think about coming through, opening here, throw the back of the hand. I don't have to do this super hard. I can still maintain my 50% by just simply and there's pig. Okay, throw the back of the hand, gather the side, hit, boom. Hit the back of the hand, 10 o'clock. Perfect. Back of the hand, 10 o'clock. You can feel everything gather, bam, 10 o'clock. Now see, that was a huge grip lock, and that's gonna happen because when we make these adjustments and we're trying to change things in our form, it's gonna happen over and over again. But right there, what happened is, rather than trusting the 10 o'clock hit point, what I did is, I went to swing just a little bit harder. I accelerated extremely late, which caused me to then send the disc way off to the right. But I'm gonna be honest, I would rather right now, as I'm trying to feel the power and feel the transfer of power and spin into the shot, every grip lock to the right means that I'm doing the right thing in terms of transferring power. I just need to get that timing a little more dialed to push it forward instead of late to the right. Having early releases hitting left, that ain't it. That means that I am softening it and not trusting that the grip is actually gonna rip out. That would have been really fun, because I think if it hadn't hit the tree, it had a chance of going in. Now, if you're watching this back, and I'm sure if you time it all, those were super air bouncy, things like that, because I'm coming up. There's actually another part of my form that I'm working on as well to come into this, but the transfer of power right there is still what we're focusing on. 210-foot shots. I didn't feel like I was throwing any of those super hard whatsoever, and that's the goal. Is on a 200-foot shot, I want to be thinking about accuracy rather than overpowering with my hand. All right, so I wanted to give this a couple more chances to see some discs really fly, see what we could do with it. So we're gonna throw 2 putters to keep it going. We've got a 500 Spectrum PA3 with KJ. We have a pig. This is my straight pig. We're gonna throw these and try to demonstrate you can still come in with 50% power, hit the back of the hand. Still come in with 50% power and get a decent flight out of these. And then we have 4 fairway drivers that we're gonna try as well, just to maybe try to demonstrate this concept. Okay, so like we talked about on the last hole, these are zipping out of my hand. This is a concept that I've thrown a couple students' ways real fast and they're grasping it really fast, but you may be in the process of me with I am about a week into trying to figure this out, and I'm getting way more power out of discs and shots than I was getting before. But once again, we're still trying to aim it. That is a PA3. We're gonna start with 2 stalkers, both ESP. We'll go with the more stable one first, see what we can do here. Whew. See, still super nosy because I am swooping quite a bit, but right now all I'm trying to think about is getting to that 10 o'clock hit, that 10 o'clock power. There we go. That's a bummer that I hit that tree. If I think about even there, the difference between the 2 stalker shots, one, I was focused on throwing hard and coming into that shot, which caused more swoop, which causes more air bounce, and therefore the one goes over stable. But if I just think about twist and then throw that hand out, it is wild how much extra power you get out of the shot. So now we're gonna throw stings. ESP first, this is the flippier one. Even throwing it super nose up, we still got turn out of it. Don't have to hit it hard, Dennis. Just have to get to your point. And a bug flew right in my eyeball as I went to throw it. Just for kicks and giggles, we're gonna throw 2 more. We're gonna throw a hex and we're gonna throw the dune. I'm not trying to say that you can avoid everything else for the long term, but simply by hitting that power, hitting that outward hit, throwing that back of your hands at 10 o'clock, you're going to feel a dramatic power increase, which is the motion that's going to translate to a lot of power in the future. But then once you get that feeling, get that, oh, this is what this position feels like, then you can start fixing other things like the nose up release, pouring the coffee, things like that. I just think so many people are missing this. Okay, so that one, I didn't wait on the shot at all. But gosh, the dune has so much glide. That's crazy. It's just something when you're learning the shot, you just want to throw it over and over again just to feel that pull. There it is. You could hear the difference there as I waded into the shot. And that parked the D position, which is 343 uphill. You can see if I wait into the shot, wait for the brace to hit, so that the only thing that can come forward is the hand to hit that 10 o'clock position. The brace is where focusing on the lower body is super helpful, because if you just try to hit this 10 o'clock release and throw it back of your hand, but your footwork is all wonky, you're gonna be over the shot, things like that. Now see, that time I forced it. I tried to throw that so hard, And what happened? I tried to throw it super hard and I got punished. I'm not trying to demonstrate this as you need to throw it super hard, and even sitting here making a video saying out loud for the internet, don't throw this too hard. The temptation is there. This is why we showcased on the other ones, try working on this on your upshot, then take it to the longer shots. It's just so hot, y'all. Well, that being said, I hope this is helpful, and I hope this is an eye-opening moment for you, throwing that back of the hand to that spot. As you saw, there are temptations, there are things that are gonna stand in your way of really highlighting this mechanic. When you try to overpower, you try to throw too hard, you can accelerate at the right time, and if you accelerate at the right time, it absolutely launches. We just threw a fission reactor 300 something plus feet uphill. But at the same time, we then turned around and threw another reactor trying to muscle it and overpower it, not even like 280. Understand, it takes some time. You've got some things to work on, but hopefully this really is a light bulb moment for you that, man, I've been trying to point to that shot. I've been trying to point and I just haven't felt the transfer of power. If you wait in the shot, wait for everything to come and hit, and it's gonna feel like, I gotta go now, I gotta go now, I gotta go now. Wait for it all to gather, hit that brace, and then bang. Feel that back of the hand hit. Pow. Feel how that hits, and then feel how that hits. Trying to point versus throw the back of the hand. It is a dramatic difference in power. I hope that finds you dramatic increases in your success out on the course. In the meantime, as always, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And if you found this helpful, feel free to share it with friends. We're just trying to help everybody improve one stroke at a time. In the meantime, I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. Please make it fantastic for someone else too. But for now, we're going to leave you with the birdie.